In this talk, I would like to reflect on how LLMs can enter linguistic teaching through lexicographic practice, because I'm also a lexicographer. I will use as a case study an ongoing project involving the integration of the dictionary of the Portuguese language dictionaries of the Lisbon Academy of Sciences into Evaristo.ai, a Portuguese chatbot developed by the NLX group at the Faculty of Sciences of the University of Lisbon and made available through PORTULAN CLARIN. My starting point is quite simple. Instead of beginning with the technology, I begin with the resource and with the user. So the question behind this talk is what happens when we move from looking words up to asking dictionaries questions, and what might that mean for Clarin in terms of resources, teaching, and also interface design. So traditional, as you know, dictionaries are built around the dilemma look. We search for a word and then we read its entry. So this model, it's true, it's very useful, but it is also quite rigid. It assumes that users, we have to know the word we want to look for when we search for a word in a dictionary. So, it keeps dictionary consultations very much centered on the lemma, on the entry. So many real consultation needs, they do not begin with the lemma. They begin with a problem. A user may want to ask, what is the difference between these two words? How do I say this more formally? How is the word pronounced? What can I use instead of this one? So once we start thinking in those terms, the shift from lookup to dialogue becomes very important. And we really think that is exactly where LLMs make us rethink what a dictionary interface could be. This is why we think lexicography is such a useful entry point for teaching, and I'm applying this with my students. Dictionary use is already familiar in linguistics education, but it's also it also opens onto many different kinds of linguistic knowledge, meaning grammar, pronunciation, user, register, variation or etymology, and also semantic relations. So instead of introducing LLMs as a general innovation, we can introduce them in a concrete pedagogical setting with students, where students are already working with language questions. In that sense, the dictionary becomes more than a reference to. It becomes a pedagogical interface. And from a Clarin perspective, this could be interesting, I think, because it shows how a structured language resource can support not only consultation, but also teaching and critical engagement with AI. So the case I am referring is this one, of the integration of the dictionary of the Portuguese language into Evaristo. What I find special interesting is that this is not just about putting a dictionary into a chatbot. Okay, this is not our goal. It means asking some very practical questions. What kind of user's question should be the system answer? How should lexical information be organized for interaction? What should the dictionary-specific assistant actually do? And how can it remain grounded in curated and also trustworthy lexicographic content? So this is not only a technical issue. It is also linguistic, editorial, pedagogical, and also infrastructural one. And from this case, we think a first useful guideline emerged. If we want intelligent dictionary interaction, we need structure, curated, reliable, and lexical resources, and they need it. So to support this reflection, we also run a questionnaire asking users what they would want to ask an intelligent dictionary. I do not want to make the questionnaire the center of the talk. For me, it is better understood as a source of evidence, a way of identifying users' tasks and consultation needs. Participants, especially my students, were asked to imagine that they were talking to an intelligent dictionary and to write at least 10 natural questions, indicate the kinds of answers they would like to receive. So we received till now 93 responses and more than 1,100 questions. What matters here is not just, let's say the volume, but the fact that these questions give us a very concrete map of what users actually want to do when they consult a dictionary. And that suggests another important point of view. When we design this system, we should start from the user's tasks and not only from what the model can do. What do users want? Very clear. They want more than definitions. Meaning is still central, of course, but they also want help with reformulation, with difference between similar words, grammar, spelling, usage, pronunciation, semantic nuance. So they do not simply want the dictionary to define words, they want it to help them choose words, compare them, rephrase things, and use language more appropriately. That is an important shift, because it means that the dictionary-specific assistant should be not designed not only as a retrieval tool, it should support a wider range of lexical tasks. So here another guideline could emerge. Intelligent dictionary interfaces should be designed for task diversity, not just for lookup. This also matters for teaching. If we introduce LLMs through lexicographic practice, then we are not presenting them as replacements for dictionaries or for linguistics analysis. Instead, we are using them as interface that can make lexical knowledge easier to access and easier to explore. That creates opportunities to develop lexicographic literacy. Students can learn to ask better linguistic questions, to distinguish between different kinds of lexical information, and also they learn how to evaluate system-generated answers more critically. There is also a clear link with prompt awareness. Learning how to ask better dictionary questions is part of learning how to interact more critically with AI-mediated language tools. So, in that sense, lexicographic resources can help to bridge language knowledge and AI literacy in a very concrete way. So, to conclude, my main point is LLMs should enter linguistic teachings, of course, through concrete language practice and through structural language resources. The integration of the dictionary of the Portuguese language into Evaristo is one example of how this can be done. From this case, I would suggest a few broader points that may also, I don't know really, but we can discuss this, be relevant to Clarin. Start from users' tasks, build on structured lexical resource, designed for a wide range of dictionary interactions, and also connect lexicographic interface with teaching and also with AI literacy. So users do not simply want dictionaries, as I told before, to define words. They really want resources that help them ask better questions and also make better lexical decisions. And I'm seeing that they are learning a lot during this type of exercise during the task, so I'm very glad with the results. I think this is where lexicography can make a valuable contribution to Clarin in the age of AI. Thanks.